Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chili Bean right here again with another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be going forward with the development of the app, and we're going to be building the category section, and also we're going to be working on the favorite section. Alright, so in this channel I teach you how to make an iPhone app on your phone so you can show your dad, your mom, your parents, anyone you like. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Alright, so let's go to where we stopped. Okay, so based on the last video, this is where we stopped, and we're gonna be building this favorite sections. This is because we are following this plan, right? We're trying to follow these steps so that we can do things one after the other, right, and get things done. So the favorite section is very similar to the home screen, because it has, just like we looked in the previous sections, we discussed about building a recipe cell. So this is the favorite section, and the favorite section is pretty much recipe cells, right? Just returning recipe cells. So we just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all. So it's perhaps the simplest one to do. Okay. So right now we don't have anything right here, so we are still currently empty right now. So let's just go to the class. So I'm going to go to the open that real quick, favorite, and I'm just going to clean it up. When I mean clean it up, I'm going to take this unnecessary comments away. Now if you create this project using the latest S code, you're not going to have all this comment, because this is a very old code. Alright, so quickly just clear all these comments out, and you don't need this method did receive memory warning, so you take it out. Alright, so all we have to do is, just like we've been doing for the recipe cell, since we created the annex IB for the recipe cell, all we have to do is to tell the table view in the favorites table view controller. This is what I'm saying, right? Go to this table view controller, this table view here, right? This one. All we have to do is to tell it the configuration, tell it number of cells, tell it the cells, tell it the height and all those things, right? But pretty much it's just straightforward. Okay, no too much talking. So I'm gonna try and get an XIB. So I'm gonna say this is a recipe cell like this, and this is a UI nib, and I'm gonna init this from the recipe cell nib like this. The bundle is nil. Remember, this recipe cell is this one, right? It's this one. We're trying to access it. So once that is created, I'm going to register that for the table view. I'm going to say table view.register nib for cell identifier, right? So register this recipe cell for this identifier called recipe cell string. Okay. So now I've told the table view where to get its cell. Okay. Now the next thing is just tell it the rest of the things it needs to know, right? So let's follow the pattern that we did in the first tutorial, right? In the home table view. So let's create an item. Let's say this items array, and this is the recipes that we are gonna get from the JSON, right? The data. So I'm just gonna say this one is pasta like this, and I'm gonna say another pasta. So I'm gonna say another pasta like that, and I'm gonna make this one pasta like this, right? So I'm putting this I'm putting these strings because I don't really care right now about the JSON. I don't have the JSON right now. I haven't done network calls. I don't have anything ready. But to set up the table view and to set up all the screens, right, I need to give the table view something. I need to tell it some information. So I just put strings in the array right now, and all the table view has to know is how many things are in the array, right? How many stuffs are in the array to set up its table view. So when I get the actual data, then I'll put the recipes inside the array, right? So in that case, I will be using the number of those recipes in that array, and then when I'm setting up the cells, I'll give the cell the actual recipe. So it sets up the images and all the text and all the good things, right? All right, so these are the number of recipes that I have right now. So number of sections for a table view, just return 1 because I only want one section, right? Because there's only one section here, right? Compared to this one, there are 2 sections. Okay. And number of rows in the section, right? In this one section, you already know that, right? You know what it's going to be, right? It's the items count. Okay. And then the cell for row at index part, I'm going to say let cell equals to table view dot dequeue reusable cell with which reusable cell? The recipe cell, right? For this index part at I'll dequeue that as a what? As a recipe cell. Okay, so now I've dequeued it. Next thing to do, I give the table view the cell. So I'm going to return that cell for the table view. Okay, all right. So that's it. I think that's how much stuff we have to do for the favorite section. You can see most of the work is in the first section where we are creating all the cells and doing it initially, right? And that's why abstraction is the best in programming, because if you can abstract the hard part away, or if you can create classes or create reusable components, right, then you don't have to recreate everything again. And that's just what programming is all about. It's about creating reusable things, right? So I'm just going to run it right now so we can see it and get simulator right here, move it right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to the favorite section. There we go. So we have 4 items, right? Okay. All right, so that's the favorite section. It's the same thing with this cell. So you know, once you save your stuff, you're gonna find them here. Okay. All right. So the next thing to build is the categories. Let me quickly go and mark that done. Actually done for this one right now. So now I'm gonna go to the categories table view controller. All right. Okay. And pull that up right here. So we've been doing table view cells by creating XIBs, right? And XIBs are reusable, like you can use them anywhere, reusable views. So there, like I said earlier, there are 3 ways of creating your table view cells. You can do it in code, you can do it using XIB, or you can do it in the scenes in the interface builder, in the storyboards, right? So depends on your use case, right? If you know that this cell is going to be used everywhere, if you look at all your design, if you look at all your screens, and you see that all your table view cells is going to be repeating everywhere, right? The best thing to do is to use an XIB, or you can do it in code, right? If you like typing it out, right? But if it's used in only one place, right, then you can just create it in that storyboard interface builder scene, right? So like this categories are table view controller, right? I don't see anywhere else in this design, right? It's just only here, right? It's only here, right? So I'm just going to build this in the table view in the interface builder, right? So let's go to the storyboard for the categories right here. Pull that up real quick. And this is the table view controller, this scene right here. And this table view controller has a table view. So this is the table view, this one highlighted. And you can see that table view has a cell right there, right? If you can't find the cell, come to your table view and come to your attribute inspector, and you want to increase the cell to 1. And if you increase it to 2, it adds another 1, right? But you want to make it 1 for now, right? All right, so select that cell, and it's good to always follow the pattern you used for creating cells in the other case, right? So the first thing we did, create an XIB, assign the class, create a class for the XIB, create the XIB, assign the class to the XIB, right? And then do all your settings. So you want to make sure you don't forget that steps. So when you're working with table view, make sure you create the table view first, the class for that table view, and then make sure you assign it, and make sure you do your reusable identifier, right? Okay, so let's create a class for this categories. Let's say category cell, right? So because this category cell is unique to the category section, I'm going to be creating it right here, right? Because these ones are reusable, that's why I put them up here, basically, right? Or you can rearrange it how you like, right? Feel free to rearrange it how you like, right? So I'm going to create a new file, and this is a Cocoa Touch class, like that, and the subclass of UI table view cell, and I'm going to call this category cell, like that, category cell, and hit next and create. Okay, so this cell is that one that we looked at, this one in the in this storyboard scene, this one. So before you do anything, go to that cell, select that cell, go to the identity inspector, and assign that class. Hit enter. Make sure you always hit enter, right? So you don't forget. And then after doing that, you want to create a reusable identifier immediately, right? This is the one we were doing in the XIB, when we create an XIB and then register the XIB for a reusable identifier. So you see what we're doing here, create the XIB and then register it for a reusable identifier, right? That is what we're doing here, right? That's what we're about to do here, identifier, right? It's just the same thing. So call this category cell. So this is how we are doing it in Interface Builder. You can see the differences, but they're still the same thing, right? So we're doing this visually. That's why I like doing things visually, right? So this table view will be this cell will be registered for this table view, this one here. Okay. All right. So this is the table view cell, like this. Just gonna look at this one right here. What's the height? 56. Okay. Then select this category cell, and you can increase the height as much as you want. So I'm gonna make this 60, like that, right? Because I want it a little bigger. Okay. Next, I'm gonna grab my UI view, and that UI view is the one that will be the shadow, right? Because I want to maintain that shadow look and feel. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust it like this, and I'm gonna maintain the margin and make sure it's 16. Okay, looks good. Then add some constraints. So I'm gonna make it 5 here, 16, 16, and I'm gonna make it 5 right here. All right, then add those constraints. Okay, select this content view and change the color to gray, and you see that's how it's going to look like, right? Select the content view again and change it back to white. Okay. Next, I'm going to add a label to the cell. So just go to your object library and type a UI label like this. And then this label is going to be inside the UI view. So let me just put these colors back so I can differentiate them easily. So the content view is light gray, okay, and that's where the label is, right? So adjust that label like that and add those constraints 8, 8, 8, 8 everywhere, right? Let's make it 8. Okay, and then I want to change the alignment of the label to center like that, right? Okay, next I'm going to connect this label to that category cell class, right? Because I want to be able to tell this label either the appetizer, breakfast, dessert, whatever, right? So quickly connect that, pull up your side pane like this, and look for the category cell real quick. So come down here, automatic, select manual. Okay, we don't see it there. Come to this 4 icon looking clover thing, and then select category cell. Okay, now I'm gonna connect the label, and I'm gonna call this category label like that, and connect that. Okay, I'm gonna bring this view back, and then I'm gonna go to the category table view controller. Before I go there, select your content view and change the color back to white, right? Also, this view right here is the shadow view, right? So name this one shadow view like this, however you want, and just make sure you select the identity inspector and set the class to shadow view like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the categories table view controller, and I'm going to take away all these comments that was in the old code, right? Take these ones away, right? And then take away your did receive memory warning and clear all these comments. Okay, so now I don't have to register the cells again because I already registered the cell in the interface builder right here. Right, I already registered the cell, and I already set an identifier, and I already set the class. So I don't have to do that again in the category table view. So all I just need is number of items. So I'll say let items like this. It's going to be an array, and this array is all these things, right? Appetizer, breakfast and lunch, dessert, beverage, main dish, pasta, salad, soup. Okay, so let's see if we can do that as fast as we can. So this one is appetizer like that. This one is, I'm checking my battery because my battery is about to die. Breakfast and lunch and brunch. And this one is dessert. And that one, beverages. That one is main dish. And this one is pasta, my favorite. Everybody knows that. And this one is salad, right? And last one is soup, right? Okay. And last one is soup. Okay. So this represents, this is not the categories, right? Just like we've been saying, the items, we're just putting something there right now so we can tell the table view how many stops it's going to show, right? So when we get the data, this is going to be groups of recipe, or it can be a dictionary that has a key to an array of stops, right? So I can have the key to be appetizer, and the value would be array of appetizer recipes, right? And then the key would be breakfast and brunch, and then the value would be array of breakfast and brunch recipes, right? So that, you know, if I want to find number of sections, I can just say get me all the keys in the dictionary, and how many keys do I have, right? I can do all those things, right? But just now, this is just to set it up, right? Okay. So number of section is items.count, and this can always change, right? Remember, this is not the actual things right now. This is just to set it up. Okay, no, number of section is not items.count. Number of sections is we just have one section, right? We don't have two header, just have one section. But the this one is one, but the number of rows is item.count, right? The number of visible cells that we are seeing. Okay, and now we're gonna dequeue the cells. I'm gonna say cell for row at index path, and I'm gonna say let cell is equal to table view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier. So what was the identifier again? So go back to your categories, scene, select your category cell and go to your attribute inspector and select your identifier like that, right? So you want to go back to your table view controller and paste that string right there. Always copy it. If you try to type it and it crashes, you're on your own. Yeah, always copy that thing, because you can and then I'm going to dequeue this as a what? A category cell, right? Okay. So if you copy the string, you're fine. But if you try and type it and you don't get it right, you can crash, right? And that's why strings are frowned upon everywhere in the code, because if you have string lying everywhere in your code, it's very dangerous, because if someone changes it right there, then you have to maintain everything, right? So at this stage, we don't want to worry about that right now. All we just want to achieve in this episode is to get the app to show up and you know, be good looking as we can, right? But all these nuances, all these minor and main things in programming, it takes time, right? The more you do it, the more you learn and see all these things, and then you start realizing, and then you start getting used to it. But you know, don't let anyone tell you that, you know, because you don't know everything as a beginner, you know, you're not a good programmer. So it's good to have some level of doubt, right? Or level of ignorance. It's okay. You can't know everything. So just return that cell for that table view like this, and I think that's all we have to do right now. So let's just build it right now first and see what we have. Checking my battery. Make sure it's not dying. Okay, so let's go to the categories, and there we go, right? So we have label, right? That's not what we want right now, right? So we want this label to be this, and it seems like the height of the cell was like reduced. So we want to tell the table view. Table view is like, you have to tell it everything, right? You have to tell it exactly everything. If you don't tell it everything, it's going to be throwing guesses at you, right? And you're not going to get what you want. So we want to tell it the height of the cells, and we want to tell it the strings to put in the category label. So I'm going to say first of all, the height of the cell. So height for row at index part, and I'm going to return 60 like this, right? And then since we dequeued this cell as a category cell, it should have a category label, right? Because we put one there, right? So let's say cell dot, so the category label inside the cell, the text inside that category label, right, is equal to what? So when we get the items array, right, and then we take this index part right here, because this index part is going to be increasing from, based on the number of rows, 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, to the number of rows that we told it. So get me that index part, right? Index part. And remember, the index part has section and row. So section 0, 1, 2, 3, section 1, 1, 2, 3, section 2. So since we said one section, right, we don't have to bother about the section. So we know that section 1, which is 0. And then the number of rows in that section will be what? Index part.row, right? So this one will be now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if we can get the index, then we can access the item, the stuffs in the items array, right? Just accessing through the index. Okay. All right. So just run that real quick. And I'm going to go to the category section, and that looks beautiful, right? Okay. So it looks a little off, so maybe I'm going to increase the height again, and then take these lines, because we don't want these lines, right? This separator lines. So I'm going to make the height, I'm going to make it 64 like this, and I'm going to go to the category section, and then select the category cell. I'm going to make it 64, and then I'm going to increase it a little bit, give it more spacing, right? So how do we do this real quick? Select this content view and change the color to gray, so it's going to be easy to see. And then select your label, clear the constraint, select this right now, and then clear the constraint like that, right? And then we're going to add it like this, and then let's just use this constraint stuff. So put 6 right here, and 8, 8, and make this 10. All right, and add those 4 constraints. Okay, then select your content view and change that back to white. So we're going to take this separator away, right? So default, change that. Select your table view and come to your separator style like this, separator, and set that to none. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to stop that and run that again, right? Okay. I'll grab my simulator. And let's go to the categories, and that looks okay. That looks nice. Okay. All right, so we're gonna stop here. So this is practically done right now. I declared this done. It's not technically done, right? It's just we're getting something. So now we have the home section, and you know, we can have those cells like that, and we have the category section like this, and we have the favorite section. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is the category open, which is this one, right? And this one is basically just like how we've been doing. This one is not too hard, right? If you can do this part, then you can just return recipe cells that we've already built, right? And then we can start working on the main functions. All right, so I'm gonna call it a day right now. And once again, it's Chili Bean. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and give this a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.